Hello, Shawnee.
Hello, Nathan. Oh wow, we're just starting straight
Yeah,
away.
man.
Okay, wow, okay.
So,
Thank you. Welcome everybody to our review of Jurassic World Dominion.
so it's been what 4 years?
4 long years of chaos, COVID and lockdowns and
Yeah,
world wars. It's been certainly a big pause on everything, but we're back. We're back, baby.
that's right.
Back with a vengeance, and we're here. Well, to talk about Jurassic World Dominion.
Absolutely.
Our first episode was Jurassic World back in 2015,
And
I
that's
believe.
Jurassic World 1 as well.
Jurassic
wasn't
World 1.
it? Yeah.
From memory, it was a
Fun
mixed
times.
response, but it really hasn't, you know, influenced our minds on this review.
Yeah, and we couldn't.
Loving that first one.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and listen to it, like for our original thoughts, to see if anything developed or if we developed as people. But it's a lost episode. Like
Yeah,
a lost world.
franchise hasn't developed, and I don't think we've developed, and I think that's the problem.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
I think we're as cynical as ever. And look, I've got a couple of taglines here that
Oh, go
that
for
I
it.
thought were funny this morning. They truly brought back the dinosaurs. The original cast is back, Nathan. Like, because they're old.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you
I
get
see
it?
what you mean. They're the dinosaurs. Yeah.
Okay. It was funnier this morning to myself. Yeah, we'll dive straight
Oh, what are
straight
the
into
other
it.
taglines? I can.
Oh,
I
they're
can
not
see
really
them
they're not
written
really taglines. They're
Oh,
more
okay.
like the preparation, but like
Oh, okay.
this is going to be a very cynical review. I'm a very 90s person.
Yeah.
I've got my original scarves on from the first film.
Very classic.
If everyone remembers that.
We now owe Spielberg $10,000 for each one.
And we ate some Steggles chicken nuggets as well before this review. So Steggles, if you'd like to sponsor us, please send us more chicken nuggies.
The
But
dinosaur-shaped nuggies.
essentially, going forward, if I was to break this review down, it would be the mutant bugs, the James Bond villains, and the boring dinosaurs.
Okay. Okay.
Let's
I
get
like
straight into
Yeah.
it with all the things that I hate. So the mutant bugs, look, man, it's a big no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Colin Trevorrow or whatever his name is.
Place.
Colin Tomorrow. Mutant bugs felt extremely forced. I think they were just a placeholder to try and get some sense of the plot going,
Yeah.
some sort of threat. Maybe because the dinosaurs weren't too much of a threat because they were on a separate island, and any dinosaurs that were a threat were kind of dotted throughout the film.
Yeah.
But you have to have some kind of background threat, yeah? You have to give the other cast members something to do. So you add in mutant locusts,
Yeah.
it makes sense. Just didn't feel like a Star Wars kind of decision.
You know,
Right.
when
This
you
isn't
said...
even Star Wars, isn't it? This is Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Why did I say Star
No,
Wars?
when you... No,
I'm blurring my lines between big dumb
but
trilogies.
that gets onto what I want to talk about, which is like the Hollywood template. But before we get into that, when you said mutant bugs, I actually had to think what you were talking about because I completely forgot.
Oh, wow.
That's like the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
plot point. I'd kind of edited that out
It
in
is
my mind.
It is a plot point. It feels like something out of, especially when they're in that little mutant container. They're sneaking in, back a house under disguise. It felt
Yeah.
a bit like Resident Evil,
Oh, yeah.
because Resident Evil has like mutant creatures or bugs, and it's usually like a whitewash, futuristic like facility. I don't know. I had Resident Evil vibes,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
not Jurassic World vibes. When I think of Jurassic Park, I think of jungles, I think of dinosaurs, I think of adventure, not sneaking into a facility, stealing bug serum. What
Yeah.
were your thoughts?
Well, just to sum up your review, it sounds like the whole theme of what the whole podcast, because this is the episode 38. We had 37 episodes up to 2018.
Correct,
When
yes.
we abruptly ground to a halt.
Thanks,
Because of
COVID.
COVID 2 years early. To COVID in 2018. Like disappointment.
Yes.
Were you disappointed?
Disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too cynical and too obvious with my review, but it was definitely disappointment. And I think franchise just exhaustion. I wanted to save this point to the end,
Yeah.
but you've kind of put me into it. But I think this franchise is just extinct.
Wow.
I think it
We should
is.
just end it
And
there.
I think it is. I think if you're going into mutant bugs and all this weird sci-fi stuff, like what else can you do with dinosaurs? But I do that will come in later at the end of the podcast. I've got a question relating to
Yeah, absolutely.
what do you do next, but we'll save that for now.
Yeah.
I'd like your thoughts and I was a bit shell-shocked from this, is the strange James Bond villain. Remember that? There was a female character. She was wearing all white. We're in Malta. And she's like the head of the human trafficking, dino smuggling group.
Yes, yeah.
She felt very out of place for me.
That was like a James Bond scene where she was. They go to an exotic location. There's like a motorbike / car chase. Yeah, actually, now that you think about it, it's like a merging of franchises.
Yes.
Look, that gets onto what I want to talk about, because I think the theme of this whole podcast in our lives is we get excited about something, we get like all this hype, and then we get thoroughly disappointed. And we probably do that. We probably thoroughly disappoint people as well. So we'll probably do it ourselves. But I think the thing is, for some reason, like it's I think what it is like the marketing. Marketing budgets are now like
yes,
like the same, if not more than the movie.
Yes,
there's like
correct.
this psychological thing where they keep roping us in. Even
Absolutely,
though we're like statistically, if you listen to every episode we've done, it's been
disappointment. Yeah,
I don't think there's been one movie where we've said, "Oh, this is awesome. Let's talk about this in a good way."
We should start reviewing good films, even if
Which ones?
Because Jurassic Park, that's a good film. Why don't we review that?
Yeah, but okay, but so this is what I really mostly want to talk about was like the Hollywood template.
Yeah,
and that's what I was just so frustrated about, is that it's like the same thing where you get the opening. And then you get like the first challenge, and like you're sort of introduced to all the characters, and there's all this hype, or like the it's like fan service. We're like, oh, he's in the tent, like when we meet Alan Grant, he's in the tent, like, and then she came to him with the mission. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, the fan service was
dynamic.
I went into it knowing that the fan service would be there. This is a fan base like Star Wars that their mindset and their expectations are stuck in that original mind space.
Jurassic period.
Correct. You're throwing them out like me, mate.
Too. Yeah, thank you.
But I walked in, I knew certain things would come out.
Yeah.
Like the Barbosa can.
Yeah.
That the what's his name? Dodson is in his little office, and he has the original can. So in the first episode, they've got those little embryos.
Yeah.
He still has that can on his nightstand. It's just like such a big slap. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, remember that film? I understand. But another one that stood out is Laura Dern's character.
Yeah.
Ellie Sattler is wearing exactly the same outfit.
Yeah.
The pink and blue, and she does the glasses thing.
Like a Simpsons character.
And it feels a bit like that, it's sort of, it's the same feeling. I mean, most of these fans are going to be like cheering and going wild, like, oh my God, it's the same outfit. She's doing the same thing. But me, a normal human, I just roll my eyes at it. Maybe I'm cynical. Maybe this is the Hollywood effect.
Because it's like
sucked out my soul a little bit. But I don't know. I just think.
Well, they did it like because Jeff Goldblum was in the second movie for like 5 minutes. He was in it for as long as he was in the trailer. Yeah. And that roped a lot of people in.
Yes, they got a lot of people excited.
We got like sucked in thinking, oh, Jeff Goldblum's going to be in this movie, and like technically yes, but only to give that small lecture.
Very smart, Hollywood.
But then he was actually in this movie for a significant amount of time, and was probably arguably the only good part of the movie. Like his dynamic with the original three.
Oh,
when
okay.
When they went into the facility and it's just the three of them, and he passes them the
that was good. I've got mixed opinions about Jeff Goldblum.
What I guess is like, because obviously with these big films they show it to like test audiences, right, and then they get feedback.
Yes.
And have to merge it. Do you think, because you talk about fan service, but do you think
selected audience members who are paid? Continue,
exactly.
please.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, please don't kill us, Spielberg.
Please don't kill us.
But like, do you think that it was just that they brought the three back just for the marketing and like because they obviously it's a business, right? Like what I'm saying is, if they didn't bring back the original three, what else could they have done? You know what I mean? Like they kind of forced it. They kind of shoehorned it back in because everyone was demanding it, right? Well, people like you who wants you just want to see. You just want.
I just want to see the original guys. I just want Jurassic Park because that's where my childhood is.
So you've got that movie. So why do you need another one? I guess. Like, why do they need to come back?
To answer your question, I think yes, they are shoehorned in because of marketing. They don't need these characters. They've already got decent enough characters to hold up a story.
Oh,
it's the same as Star Wars, though.
Yeah.
Like when you've got a franchise this big and a market that big, fans are simply the market. Yeah, you can shoehorn Lando Calrissian. You can shoehorn this, and that.
Yeah,
Lando Calrissian. It is going to help with sales.
He had a classic scene in Jurassic World.
It is
where he fought the dinosaur.
Oh wow!
On his ship.
It does bring in more money because I wouldn't have seen this film if it wasn't A, my birthday on that week, or 2, that original cast weren't there. I wouldn't have seen the film. I saw Fallen Kingdom. I was disgusted. It was boring. I had no faith in the sequel here.
Yeah.
So it is a bit sad. And, there was a moment at the end of the film where I actually did feel some emotion, believe it or not. It was during the end, last 10 minutes. It wasn't that kiss scene, which I'm very angry about, but we'll get there. It's a moment where I thought, geez, these characters must be just so overdone. And I know they've only been in one or 2 films, in the whole franchise. But look, God, man, there's just nothing for these characters to do anymore. It's a different world. These actors as well, I felt embarrassed for the actors. I thought, geez, they must miss Steven Spielberg. Yeah, they missed the magic of real film and not oversaturated CGI. I was like, man, this is going to be their last moment together. And it's in the most hated film of all time.
I don't know. It's
up to this point. Well, okay, maybe I'm just overreacting.
But the other thing too is that he's a. But what was the emotion part? The emotion was just for the actors.
My emotion was for the actors.
It wasn't about anything that happened in the plot.
No, not at all. It was for the real life.
I was waiting to hear what happened in the movie that made you emotional.
No. It was the real life characters.
Yeah.
And I can't. Look, maybe they loved it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And I felt, generally really sorry for these characters, for these actors that have to sit there and be like, wow, this is towards the end of our careers. We've been in the game for 50 odd years now, and this is where it's come to.
Do you think, here's a question, do you think the T-Rex is a metaphor for Steven Spielberg?
Just a giant unstoppable predator? Yes.
That's not what I meant.
Yes. Oh.
I wanted you to think about that a little.
Well, that's what the T-Rex is, man.
Yeah. No, what I mean is he's sort of a relic because you think about, remember all the marketing of the first movie was the water in the cup and the looming presence and for the most of the movie it wasn't seen and then it comes out and then it's the main villain and all that in the movie. It's the main, it was the appeal. It wasn't Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum in the first movie.
It's that bloody T-Rex.
It was the T-Rex.
Yeah.
And no one knew about it. So it was world changing because it was the highest grossing movie of all time for until Titanic, a few years later.
Yes.
But it was
Jurassic
the biggest
Park.
movie ever.
Yep.
And that's Spielberg. He was it was well known before that, with E.T. and everything. But that, he sort of came from nowhere and made this huge impact on film.
That's a very good theory.
And now it's these 3 movies, the T-Rex is in them all.
Yep.
And
comes out at the end, last part,
and he
like the
saves the day,
superhero,
and he's
then
always
he walks off again.
Yeah, so because the T-Rex in all 3 saved the day. Remember, he killed the Indominus Rex.
Yep.
I can't even remember the number.
Can't even remember the second one. But he's definitely in there. He's definitely in there.
Definitely
and the third one.
Because I think it was the T-Rex coming. He was the first dinosaur to go back on. Because Lost World.
Yep.
I think they tried to do a parallel. Because in Lost World, the T-Rex goes to San Diego.
Yeah.
And I think in number 2, I might be wrong, but the T-Rex I think is the first dinosaur to go into the human.
He goes
back in
somewhere. I don't know. I don't remember.
And then in number 3, number 3 saves the day again.
Saved the day with that blind dinosaur.
So do you think it's Steven Spielberg? I don't think he's conscious. He's hey, I'm a T-Rex, yeah. Children wanting to be a T-Rex.
I think there's I
know a great impression of Spielberg.
Maybe this is one big underground joke in Hollywood where it's yes, let's do Steven as the T-Rex this time,
Yeah, but what I mean though is the T-Rex always in a way can't be defeated. Is the original dinosaur and keeps insisting on sticking around, even though it's extinct.
Almost like a George Lucas before he retired.
Yeah, see, it's different. George Lucas got out and basically sold. He sold and moved on, right? Even though he still has some creative control, but he basically does it.
Yeah,
Spielberg is
he's sticking around, mate. He's because
that's when you said do you think they miss? This is why I asked you this question. Is you said do you think they miss Spielberg? I think he's there every day. I get the feeling Spielberg regularly shows up to set,
sticks on that franchise like glue.
He's watching the storyboards. I think Spielberg is in uncredited writer and director. I know he's a producer, but I reckon he has apparently same with Transformers. He was heavily involved in he produced Transformers, but he was also heavily involved in the story.
Of course. Well,
hands off it.
the original author of
His
Jurassic
little
Park,
T-Rex hands off it.
original author of Jurassic Park and The Lost World has
Michael
passed away.
Crichton. Yeah.
Has passed away. But Steven, he did his first movie, did the second film as well. I believe he produced the third and was involved in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got his tentacles a part of it. You could say the T-Rex is an old character like the original cast. They just can't step away from this dinosaur. But look, maybe we're looking too much into it. We're having an in-depth discussion about Steven Spielberg as a T-Rex. Maybe we're getting off track here. That's okay. I'd like to talk about back to the James Bond villain, which originally ignited this whole conversation. So what do you think? And I'm going to use her as an example. New villains just chucked in at the ending of trilogies, because I hate it, because I have no attachment to characters who come in at the last part.
Do you think that what was her character's name?
No idea.
Okay, that tells you something, doesn't it?
I don't even remember the pilot. Remember there was a pilot?
Yeah, sure. No, I have a theory that she's a metaphor for Steven Spielberg.
Again?
No.
Oh, wait.
No, I just want to see your reaction. I think not a metaphor, but I think it's the opposite of what we've just talked about, right? Like the T-Rex keeps sticking around, and we complain about that. So they're all right, we'll introduce you a new villain, and then we complain about that. So is the fans just? Are we never satisfied?
I think we just need
because they've never made a good movie that we like.
I think we need to set up good characters. It's the same with Star Wars and Jurassic World. You start off with good characters.
Yeah.
And they seem to make people happy-ish. We've always started out positive at the start of these films, and then it's a huge decline.
Yeah, definitely.
But adding in new characters in the last one, I don't know. I just didn't have any attachment to her. She felt super out of place. I don't want to speak too much about her because she didn't really have that much of an impact.
I think we don't remember her name.
We don't remember her name. Yeah. It just felt very un-Jurassic World like.
I think that's the part again. Like, I'm going back to like the Hollywood template, because James Bond definitely uses the template as well. But I think what the Daniel Craig ones did really well was like, and some of them did it better and worse. Like, because Quantum of Solace was a pretty terrible movie, but at least they tried to sort of go outside of the template. That's the issue, is like the template's so predictable, and you're like, okay, it's this challenge,
like Marvel films and all that,
and then it's the big final battle, and then it's the ending where the heroes all get together and all celebrate. The problem is, if you don't stick to the template, then people get upset. But if you stick to it, people go, oh, it's boring and predictable. If you don't stick to it, people go, oh, it was like poorly made. It was.
Well, it's like The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
The 8th
let's
Star
not go
Wars
back
film.
To that.
Well, no,
I just listened to that again.
We're not diving into
34.
that. But that's a good example of trying to flip the template.
Yes.
It's just not working. So, good business is being safe and predictable. Like if I had a burger shop, I'm not going to sell people something completely different, like falafel, and try and flip burgers on its head. Pardon the pun. But, it's just all business. Yeah.
So, I mean, the question with like the villain and like what could they have done? What could they have done?
I think I have a good theory. I have a good note here. And I'm going to extend my villain discussion.
Yeah.
Dodson, I thought, was a really lackluster character. I understand having Dodson in the film, even though it's not the real Dodson, because he's a convicted pedophile. No joke.
The original actor.
Yep.
Not Dodson.
Not Dodson himself. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. He's a CEO.
I did wonder
of a
why
large
they changed
corporation.
The actor,
You never know.
But is there a reason it was Dodson and couldn't have just been a new character? Is that just meant to be his development, or is that more fan service?
Probably fan service. It could be official law. I haven't read the comics or read extended books or anything
Jurassic
like that.
World comic.
But
of course they exist.
We have Dodson, who's back. When Dodson appeared, I was like, oh, what? Dodson? Isn't he a convicted pedophile? The actor? But it was a different guy who kind of looked like Dodson. They didn't know what to do with him. That's why they gave him a weird speech impediment. Speaking of which.
Impediment.
I can't speak either.
Impediment.
Sorry. We have fun here at the Shaun and Nathan podcast.
But don't touch children, please.
No.
Children, please.
I feel like they didn't know what to do with him. Again, it's more of that fan service. It's more, well, we need to have a villain. Hey, let's get old Dodson back.
Yeah.
We don't really know what to do with him. Let's give him this weird speech thing where he's kind of a bit awkward. He's a bit like
I thought
weird.
they tried to do something with that. Yeah.
He's like the opposite of Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know. It just felt a bit pushed in.
I felt like, was he supposed to be, because the actor even looks a bit like Steve Jobs. And,
yes.
And he was supposed to be that, and like Mark Zuckerberg. I thought that was the idea. He was meant to be this well-intentioned, well, like seemingly at the start.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely evil, but he thinks in his mind he's saving the world, or it's like this technology, but he's just really misguided. It's like this awkward nerdy guy who's
definitely Steve Jobs vibes, but they needed to put a personality on him.
Yeah.
So they thought, let's make him just talk weirdly and walk off at the end of a sentence because that's his character. I was like, is this supposed to be funny?
It's weird that, I know this isn't Disney, but like the Disney movies always, or like the big corporate movies always put like a corporation as the villain. They don't see the irony in that.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you think he's a metaphor for Steven Spielberg?
Oh, here we go.
No,
I think it's a metaphor for Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So I'd like to talk about a bit more Jeff Goldblum.
Yes, let's spend the last 10 minutes talking
just to
about
finish
Goldblum.
up. With Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
So, look, a lot of people love Jeff. He's very funny. He's very unique. I understand.
Oh wow!
In this movie,
go anti-Goldblum?
I am.
I think I have to leave.
I am. Just for this film, though. So I think he was playing. He was playing himself too much. I think Dr. Ian Malcolm is a bit more reserved, a bit more intelligent.
He's like an introverted.
He seemed
Jeff
a bit
Goldblum.
too goofy. He seemed. I think people have put Jeff in that light of Conan O'Brien. He's very weird. He's very wacky.
Yeah.
And it feels like he was just being that.
Yeah.
So I was like, this doesn't seem like Jeff Goldblum or that character from the 90s. Yeah. This seems like the new Jeff now, who's much older, more wacky in the last decade. Conan O'Brien. He had a show on Disney as well. It was like The World According.
Yeah.
And
it's just him being Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. So I think that's his character now that people really love, is that he's really, really goofy and, he can kind of get away with anything because he's all,
And am I wrong? But like
different.
That first actually started from Jurassic. You can trace that back to Jurassic Park because I think that was really like the actual first. Because he's been like a stage actor and he was in The Fly and all that before Jurassic Park.
But
he was
totally
always like acting in those movies. I think Jurassic Park was the first movie where he actually played his personality, and it's only gotten worse from there. Like worse in terms of your.
In the sequel, concept. He was a lot more serious, but I think
Jurassic Park 2,
The Lost World.
The Lost World.
But he was less goofy in that. He was more very serious, very dark.
I think he did that in other movies besides Jurassic Park back then as well.
And then Cats and Dogs, he was very goofy and wacky as well as a scientist. I know it's a kids' film.
We talked about that movie in the last episode that we were going to live review it.
Really?
Yeah.
Cats and Dogs?
Yeah.
I think we should do it. If this podcast gets 2 likes, we will watch Cats and Dogs.
Oh, we're not watching it then.
But yeah, look, I love Jeff Goldblum. I think he's a great human.
Yeah.
I think the character. I just couldn't separate the character from all the YouTube clips I've seen of him on Conan O'Brien.
I just want. Can I talk about
sure,
for like 1 minute?
Yeah,
Because I followed his like career from the Conan if you go on YouTube and search Conan Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, we've all seen him. Yeah,
and then
they're iconic.
And he's gone through all those like YouTube shows and stuff where he does the Google Answers and all that.
Yeah,
Since the 2010s, he's had this comic persona of Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And what he also does is he's actually a really talented jazz pianist. And
yes,
he
does have a jazz show.
So I would, if you go on YouTube, watch those as well because he's actually a genuinely good. He's not like a aficionado, what's the word, aficionado?
Yeah.
Virtuoso. He's not a virtuoso, but he's really good because he's got that jazz style in his. Oh yeah, sorry.
Are you softening the impact I'm saying about Jeff?
No. So what happened was in LA, he plays this piano bar. Once a week, every night in LA.
Okay.
And when I was there with my this is actually before we even started the podcast, actually, 2016. We walked basically past the bar that he plays on the night. Like it was like Wednesday nights, and I think it was a Wednesday. So there was like this slight chance we could have walked into a bar and seen Goldblum playing.
Why didn't you go in?
But what I'm getting at is not like trying to brag that I almost didn't meet Jeff Goldblum, but that he has he's one of those people who's like living the exact the life he's living is exactly in line with his personality.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
he can go into different media. He can go into different realms and still be
like
himself.
He's genuinely like he's rich, successful, and famous, and happy.
Yeah,
like he's got all of that.
Wow, that's
and
really
he's got
good.
happiness.
He doesn't have to fake anything.
Because I think that all came. I think it truly came out in Thor. You know, the second Thor where he plays the Grand Master. I don't know if you've seen that one. He's literally just because even Taika Waititi, the director, just said to him, "Play Jeff Goldblum."
Yeah,
didn't give him a script.
And I
He
think
was just like, "Play yourself."
I think that's what they've done in this one as well.
Yeah,
they've gone
that's
play
what I
Jeff
was getting to.
Goldblum.
Yeah.
Don't play Ian Malcolm. That's boring and old.
Yeah,
All the kids here, all the teenagers know you from Conan O'Brien. Play that. You know, be all the be all that kind of Jeff Goldblum. But for hardcore nerds like me, I don't know. It didn't stick. But he did give me my only laugh in the film is when he had his shirt unbuttoned. I thought that was a good little. That's a good little nod. I respect that. It's not in my face like a can of shaving cream.
Yeah. Or what about the remember the T-Rex walked past the car thing and it made the shape of the logo? Did you catch that?
That wasn't funny. I did catch it, but I didn't laugh.
That's what I mean. But that's what I mean with the fan
Did
service.
you laugh at that?
No, I'm just talking about the obvious. Like that was it was cringe.
Oh, wait, what? Was that what it was supposed to be?
Don't you see that
I've seen the circle.
Yeah, and the T-Rex walks through and he does the pose from the logo that you've got right there. It's in the movie. He does it.
I remember it.
It's a reference to that.
Oh my god, I didn't put that together until just now.
Glad we.
I hate this movie even more now. Oh my gosh.
We're gonna wrap up in a bit. I just want you to get a last word in on Sam Neill. Because we haven't even talked about your favorite actor, or
yes, I'm a big Sam Neill.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why. I really.
Speaking of people playing,
I got boisterous then.
He basically plays his personality in this as well, isn't it? Like
Sam
Neill is Alan Grant.
Yes, he is a very humble. He is a very relaxed, very serious, mature, intelligent human. Both of them, like he plays himself. I love Alan Grant. I have a signature photo from Sam Neill as Alan Grant. I'm a big fan of him. In this film,
did you meet him or did they just send that to you?
I bought it from overseas. Yeah, but I thought
genuine.
Sadly,
so
no, genuinely,
okay.
like a genuine signature. Okay. Yeah,
but you didn't meet him.
No, not yet. I thought they didn't give Sam enough, and I don't blame them because you do have a big cast of characters.
Yeah.
I was happy that he actually did stuff though, like in terms of action-orientated scenes, and he really led the way, especially when they're in that underground caves and such. He had the torch and he was fighting off dinosaurs. Great to see him doing that. But that's not the Alan Grant I really like. The Alan Grant I like is him just talking about dinosaurs. Really nerding out over it.
Yeah.
Like in the first scene of the first film with Alan Grant, he's talking to that boy about how raptors hunt.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a scene in this one where he's like, "Oh, the raptors, we know now that they hunt in different ways now. They don't come from the sides. They'll actually attack your neck, not your guts." And that felt really special because we just had a nice moment where he's talking about dinosaurs, not an action scene, not going crazy or like, oh, I'm looking old and lost in the background. No, it was just a nice scene, which I really appreciate. There was another scene that got my heart, is when he's looking out of the helicopter and he's just looking at the dinosaurs and he has a smile on his face and he's been reunited with dinosaurs as they are. And I thought it was really nice and special. Not enough of those scenes though, but again, I can't fault them because you're dealing with 8 or so characters. We're trying to balance the old characters with the new characters. We can't give too much to who. But I think, one positive, there is a positive in this film. They did give enough to each character. I think every character in this film had like a couple of moments.
Sure, yeah. They balanced that well.
Which was actually really impressive. I think, I know the runtime of the film was about 150 minutes.
Yeah, like over 2 hours, 20 minutes.
Every character, Claire, Owen, the original cast, even the side characters, all participated really well. Yeah. No character felt like they were just, there, just to talk, What about, even like Dodson and all that, even the villains.
What about Owen's strength holding the dinosaur at the start? And when it was running and he
pulled it through my gosh. That's probably that's a whole nother pod there. But, it just felt good that every character got a little bit of action. Maybe a bit too silly sometimes, but look what I'm dealing with,
Look, we made a bit of
I saw Jeff Goldblum fire a torch locust spear into a big dinosaur's mouth and the
That was
dinosaurs
actually pretty
walked
cool. I thought that was pretty cool.
All right, well, very different.
We're about to go off recording.
Yes. Well, look, by
Let's start it again. We'll just start again.
okay, good pickup.
Yeah.
We'll just do a quick reset. So I just overall, I'm pretty sure you can tell watching at home, or wherever you are, that I didn't like this film. Look, I love the originals. I love the first one a lot. It's one of my top 2 favorite films of all time. I just think the Jurassic World franchise is exhausted. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. If it's on a streaming service one day, sure, tick it off the list. Watch it with a girl, maybe a date, so you get distracted and you just eventually forget it. It's a good segue into adult things, I think, because it's a movie you can just,
like a Netflix and chill.
it's a good Netflix and chill film where you watch the start, get bored, you start doing stuff, and then when you finish, you look back at the screen and it's the end action scene. Oh, that was a pretty good film. Yeah, nice. Yeah, very well done. What was your overall thoughts? What do you think?
I think we'll play this recording somewhere in this episode where we recorded just before we went in, and I predicted that they would kill off the main character, and then you stole my prediction. You'll hear that anyway, so we don't need to debate it. But I thought they would kill off Alan Grant, and the reason I thought that is because I know Sam Neill is like coming to the end of his act, like he's in his 70s, or nearly 70s, isn't he? Yep. And I know he didn't want to be James Bond. He got offered that. He
should have been James Bond, 100%.
But he didn't. He turned it down. Like he went in and bombed the audition because he didn't want to be it. And I think it's similar with Alan Grant. Like he kind of got that anyway. Like Alan Grant was supposed to be Harrison Ford. It was supposed to be like an Indiana Jones type. And
gets out of the franchise.
Samuel has a very different personality where he's a lot more introverted. He just lives in New Zealand making wine.
He's a bit like Harrison Ford, don't you think? Like he's a bit more.
Yeah,
he'd rather not be kind of in the spotlight.
He's like the reluctant. Yeah, he's like the reluctant celebrity.
Yeah.
So what I thought was going to happen was they were going to, what was the movie where they just killed off? Oh, Bond. I know. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the last Bond, but they kill Bond off.
I haven't seen the last Bond.
Oh fuck. Actually.
Legit.
Oh.
Did they kill Daniel Craig?
No, don't worry. I thought you'd seen that. That didn't happen.
Wow. Thanks.
Okay. I thought they were going to kill, because actually we're making the parallels to Bond. Oh wow, Sean's gone into like a deep hole.
Yeah. No, talk about your parallels.
I actually thought we talked about you seeing that.
Can you just continue?
I'm really sorry.
I need to rush home and watch James Bond now.
I swear, because you're a Bond fan. Why haven't you seen it? Anyway,
I'm not that much of a Bond fan.
Oh well, then
I'm not.
Doesn't matter that you.
Now it doesn't matter because he's dead.
I thought what they were going to do. I was like, oh, I can see Spielberg setting this up that like, because they've got this, as you said, like the Owen and Claire characters, like they're a bit rocky from the start. Claire was like Jurassic World 1. She was like obsessed with her job, and there was this whole divorce subplot with the 2 kids, and she takes them on and that. And then like this one expanded where she's sort of becoming a mother to the girl who.
Yes,
I can't remember her name, but she was
Charlotte.
Charlotte, who was like the clone, but then turned out to not actually be a clone, kind of thing. And then Chris Pratt is Chris Pratt, and I was like, oh, I think what they're going to do is they're going to do what they're doing with Star Wars and have it like a Jurassic World extended universe.
Okay.
And I was like, but what they have to do is they have to move on. You have to get rid of the past.
You have to get rid of the old ones. Yeah,
like the dinosaurs. But then, what I'm saying is Sam Neill is a metaphor for Steven Spielberg. No, I'm not.
Are you saying we should kill off Steven Spielberg?
Maybe.
Can you give me...
if he retires, I wouldn't be upset. I think
me either.
What I'm trying to get... So I'll summarize my point. I thought they were going to kill off Alan Grant.
Okay.
I thought at the end, it was so... Like, it was there, and I was like, they're going to do it. Like, he's going to get eaten by the dinosaur, or he's going to, like, do the... Tony Stark, I'm going to sacrifice myself so the team can get away. And then we can start afresh with the new characters. And then, like, whether the next movie starts with his funeral or it's like they have the next world that they build is like
Alan Grant's son comes in.
That's definitely what would happen.
Oh, well, no.
But what I thought was, I was like, what? Yep. This is what I thought, right? The template always ends with the hero at the end of the day, as you said, like off in the helicopter, smiling down at the dinosaurs, which I guess is like a good moment, as you said. It is a nice. It was quite emotional for him. But I really thought one of the main characters, if not him, like Malcolm, but I thought him being the main character from the first one, I'm like, oh, they'll break away and have a fresh start. But no, he's still alive.
Yeah, I wasn't sure who they'd kill off because the trailer, great marketing, really showed this intense moment where it looked like one of them was going to die.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Spoilers: no one carks it except for Dodson.
And neither does James Bond. That was just a joke. So
yeah,
that was a joke.
Cool. I've got some questions. I've got some questions for you, Nathan. Just this is the final.
Yeah. So
this is the
so
final
are we going to
part.
call this a segment, or is this just a separate thing?
No, I'm talking. This is definitely a continuation. So
yeah, no, like this is in the episode, I know, but like, are we going to do this every time? Is this like the 2 bonus questions?
I don't know. We haven't done this in 4 years.
All right.
Do you feel a greater appreciation for the old films after this trilogy? So by old films, I mean the original 3 trilogy.
Yeah. Now you've already pre-asked me this question, so I've had a bit of a think about it, and I know we've accidentally a few times and intentionally paralleled this with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like a similar thing. You know how like the prequels made people appreciate the original trilogy more?
Yes.
I think this trilogy makes me appreciate the original. This trilogy makes me appreciate the original more because of the quality not being as good.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go back and
Yeah.
watch Jurassic Park. But I think as well, it had the opportunity to make me appreciate it even more if they made a few of those changes, like killing off Dr. Grant, or just did a little bit something different with the template.
Yeah.
The fact that they just stuck to the template again, I was
That's
like,
fair. That's fair.
it doesn't give me hope for the next trilogy at all. But I think it makes me definitely want to go back. I want to watch the original.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, man. It definitely makes me appreciative of the originals. We've got that nostalgia for them growing up during that time. It makes me appreciate just that little time in the 90s and like 80s of real cinema gold.
Yeah.
The golden years of cinema, how these movies were made, the real love and craft behind them.
Yeah. Back
Now
when we
it
were
just
getting
feels
toilet trained.
now it just feels kind of just empty, just like a marketing gimmick. It's just for money now. It's just sort of a
Well, I mean, it was for money back then too.
It's just
It's like it's a part of our childhood is like infused with that. Back when we're getting toilet trained and
well, because Jurassic Park originally was just one book. Stephen read it, loved it, made the film.
yes,
Michael,
yeah.
the author, didn't even write a sequel. That sequel came before the film, but the fan base was so massive. He had to write, the sequel, and then the film got made, and then we've got to have a trilogy now. I would have loved Jurassic Park just to be a one-off film, but yeah, it is what it is, and it definitely makes me appreciate, that we grew up with those old films.
definitely.
Now, I've got a second question here. Where would you like to see this franchise go next?
That is a great question. I think they could do. I think we talked about this a little bit. See the idea in the second movie about dinosaurs being like used as weapons in war and all that. What I thought, because it's kind of a little bit about, we haven't even talked about this Spielberg, how you said should he die or retire or whatever. Like, because John Hammond in the original movie, he created Jurassic Park and he was like this delusional, optimistic.
Yeah, he had a mind of a child.
Entrepreneur type thing.
And
that's kind of maybe a better metaphor for Steven Spielberg if we're trying to do a metaphor. But the thing is, he did die. I think because Richard Attenborough died, they had to kill off the character.
Yes, correct.
And almost in this one, you've got Dodson, who has this legacy, and that's what I guess I was getting at is like Alan Grant's legacy. Could have died and then left the legacy and stuff as well. So I think what they should do is acknowledge some of this, that like the younger fan base have now grown up.
Okay.
Or like in the next trilogy, have it 5 or 10 years in the future from this one, and we're kind of used to dinosaurs.
Okay.
So it's like kids have now grown up. And I don't know if you want to get as silly
true.
as them riding dinosaurs to school or, this kind of integration.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like cheesy like that.
Like Dinotopia, where they're like reading books in the library.
But what I think they have an opportunity to do is it's like dinosaurs and humans have almost, it's probably from more on the humans end, we've learned how to live with them.
Yes, yeah.
And then something comes along where, and like they could make this, again, the metaphor. I mean, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it though with an evil corporation, but someone starts realizing like that we can
weaponize them,
weaponize them, or like there's this threat of extinction.
Okay, yeah,
or climate change related to dinosaurs.
Yeah,
or it's like the ecosystem's being impacted, and what do we do about
by
that?
the dinosaurs.
Yeah, or people. I think there's got to be a villain, right? Someone's got to be trying to profit.
That sounds like the plot of Dominion, because they had those locusts that were threatening like plantation.
But that was for
the
their
balance.
profit. They were trying to kill the competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like that. I know. I had a really good articulation of it, and now I can't remember it for the actual podcast we were recording forever.
I should have just asked these during the pod. Well,
no, but you know what I mean. Like, I think there needs to be this thing about legacy. Like, there needs to be kids who have grown up, like maybe our age, like people in their 30s, because Chris Pratt is even a bit too old. You know, you need these like
absolutely.
You need like millennials, like older millennials who were born in the 90s, who have now grown up living with dinosaurs. Their lives are integrated with dinosaurs, and then something happens that interrupts this. There's been this harmony for a little while, and something interrupts that, and it sets off this chain of events that can have a
That'd be good, like especially relating with COVID and all that nowadays. That's sort of what's happening now. Well, my answer completely different to yours. Mine's a bit more exciting. Well, I'd love to see a mini series, TV series about the cleanup and the events after Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So eventually Jurassic Park, that island turns into Jurassic World. Yeah. 25, 30 years later. So I'd love to see them going back to the island and doing a lot of stuff there, like trying to wrangle up the survivors or the dinosaur itself, So, because there's a lot of comics about that. So there's a lot of content out there that they can put into film.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see, mini series of them going back to the original island. There's a lot of good like little subplots out there.
Yeah, I agree.
No kids as well is something that I've got jotted down. Sick of kids in these films. They're just kind of weird. And it would have to be set in the 90s as well, because it's right after Jurassic Park, which was.
So you literally want it to be like a go back and
straight from the original film. Beautiful, plenty of fan service. That's exactly what we're doing. It's not set 30 years in the future, and we have all this rushed in fan service.
So it's like the Jurassic Park extended universe in a way.
Yes, correct. Yes. Okay. And we see them, what do they do afterwards? Pretty much like, the salvage team goes out there, things happen. Maybe another company comes in and tries to take the dinosaurs as well. Yeah. Just stuff like that. That's where I see it going next. But because TV series seem to be popular, like really popular now. Instead of just making a film, make a TV series. We can make it last longer than a film. People pay their subscription, we can chuck more into it and such. So, yeah. No, it sounds
overall, good. You could do both of our ideas. Just
they could.
Like if they did it, I reckon that's where they're going. Well, that's what I thought was going to happen. That they were setting up this like extended universe. Yeah, where humans and dinosaurs live in harmony.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah. But overall, it looks like we both hated it. I give it 1 star out of 10. You give it probably...
I gave it... I would say... I originally gave it a 6 out of 10, but I'll adjust it to a 5 out of 10.
Jeez.
No, because you know what? Like, because you're saying 1 out of 10.
Oh, no.
Like, if you had a movie like The Room, that's a 1 out of 10. Yeah. I think it's watchable.
Realistically...
Like, we didn't want to leave the cinema. We watched the whole thing.
Well, you didn't. I'd give it a 4 out of 10. I think it's slightly below average, but... It still has some scenes in it that are captivating and lovely.
That's what
all that. Dinosaurs are cool. Sick of dinosaurs being characters, Blue and Beta, and characters and these dinosaurs are now villains. I liked it when dinosaurs were just treated as a threat, an enemy, an animal, and not so much an enemy, but they were just animals. Yeah, that's just me going on my tangent. But thank you for watching our review.
Yeah.
Thanks for spoiling James Bond.
I genuinely thought you'd watched it, so I apologize.
Look how much space there is behind us, man.
Yeah, well, let's
come in,
together.
man.
Right,
oh my god,
we'll come together.
Yeah. Thankfully, this is the end of the podcast.
No. We got this game that we're going to trial out.
Oh, do you want to?
Yeah. Do it on this one. Yeah. So,
okay. All right.
So I'm going to explain this game to people, and this is our first time playing it. So we've got
god.
I'm going to try not having this paper rustle as much as well.
I'm going to come a bit closer.
Yeah. So this game is called Plot Points.
Okay.
All right. So I've developed it, and we've talked about it a little bit, but I'll go through it with you and the audience so everyone's understanding what it's about. So it's called Plot Points.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we go through. One of us will have seen a movie, and the other person will have not seen the movie. And what we're going to do is go through 5 plot points within the film. So basically, like the opening scene, a scene that happens in the middle, a sort of a turning point kind of scene or a famous scene in the movie, the final battle, and then the ending scene.
Okay.
So we go through 5 plot points, and at each one, there's 3 options of what happens. So one of them actually happened in the movie, and 2 others are made up.
Oh, jeez.
So what we'll do is we go through all 5, and then you have to give your answers. So there's 15 different plot points.
Okay.
It's obviously 5 plot points times 3.
Yep.
And you've got to, by the end, see if you can
guess what
them
film
all.
is. Yep.
And what we're going to do is we have 3 lifelines. So one lifeline is clarify or elaborate. So if I read out the 3 and you're really not sure, you can ask me to clarify on one of those 3, not all of them, and I'll have to explain it further. So if you think it might be part of the movie, you could probably tell from my response if I'm making it up, or if I know if it actually happened in the movie, I might be able to give a clear answer, but I'll elaborate on it.
Yep.
One, an option removal, so I'll take away one of the options, so then it's like 50-50. And the other one is like a rewrite, so you can go back and change one of your answers.
Oh my god!
So what we're going to do is I'm not going to give you the answers as we go through.
This is intense.
Okay,
yeah.
All 5.
Okay.
And we'll see how you go at the end.
All right. This is our first time doing it, so this is very candid.
Yeah,
you know,
and so
I'm being put on the spot here.
So the movie we're doing is Top Gun Maverick, which just came out in cinemas.
Okay.
I will give you my review of the movie. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, cool.
I didn't want to go because I don't want to get into this too much, but I didn't want to sponsor Scientology through Tom Cruise. But I figure, I don't agree with a lot of people's viewpoints, but I still go see their movies. So I didn't want to go all like.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be James Bond, but because I already know the plot of that, I guess, so it doesn't really matter.
I didn't want to
make your first point.
All right. So we're doing Top Gun Maverick. So the opening scene. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 options.
Yep.
And in each one as well, I give a framing that is actually happened, so you have a bit of an understanding.
Okay.
And then you have to go into the specific
of that scene.
So this is a bit of the opening that actually has happened. So the Admiral is coming to shut down the program that Tom Cruise works in. I'm just going to call him Tom Cruise, even though it's Maverick, because they haven't achieved Mark 10 on the plane that they've been developing. So that's happening in the scene.
Okay.
So which of these options happened in the movie?
Okay.
A, Tom Cruise achieves Mark 10 and then lands the plane flawlessly. And then as he's getting out of the plane, he sort of like does this smile at the Admiral. And then we cut into the main part of the movie.
Okay.
B, Tom Cruise achieves Mark 10, but then he crashes the plane. And it seems like for a second he might have died, but we find out that he ejected and landed safely.
Okay.
And then it cuts into the movie.
Yep.
Tom Cruise doesn't achieve Mark 10, crashes the plane, but then makes a deal with the Admiral to have one last chance, which is to train these new recruits. And then we cut into the movie.
I think, look, if I was making a film like this, I think it's option 3. Do you want my reasoning why?
Yeah, just a brief. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in films you have to, you start the scene, you have the objective in mind. You have, you give your character a goal in the film. So his goal is to reach Mach 10. He isn't successful because where do you go from there? If he's successful, then, well, what are you going to do for the rest of the film? So he isn't successful. And yeah, he decides to train these people. And I think, do you want me to say how it ends? The film ends, or
no,
just
because we're going through the plot points.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Okay, so let's do that with a little elaboration, so we have enough time.
Okay,
all right. So that was good guess, number C. So you said option C.
Yep.
So point 2.
Yep.
Okay, so this is what actually happens. Tom Cruise has to teach the next generation of fighters for a mission, and one of them is Goose from the original movie, which was his partner's son. So that's not a twist or anything.
Okay,
that's
well
known.
Yep. Okay.
So this is one of the scenes that happens early on that sort of establishes his dynamic with Goose.
Okay, go for it.
Tom Cruise goes to a bar on the base, which is owned by Penny, who was sort of his love interest from the original Top Gun.
Okay, of course.
And he meets the crew. And while he's sort of at the bar, he has this flashback to Goose and his son.
Okay, yeah, very emotional.
Option B, Tom Cruise. So he's actually been with Penny we find out he's been with Penny the whole time since the last movie.
Okay.
Sort of on and off, not like married or anything.
Yep.
But they sort of have sex every so often. And then he has a nightmare of Tom Cruise's son. So throughout the movie, we find out that he's had a son that's died.
Yeah, yep. Oh my God.
And then this is sort of why he gets protective of Goose's son, because Goose's son reminds him of his son who died. Mm-hmm. Or option C, Tom Cruise finds the old plane that he used to fly. It's been in storage.
Yeah, yep.
And then he tells Goose's son stories about his father. So tells Goose's son stories about Goose while they're repairing the plane.
Okay.
And then Penny sort of she sort of stands at the hangar watching Tom Cruise.
Okay.
And sees that so she's got a daughter, and she sort of sees that he could be a good father because she sort of sees the dynamic he has with Goose.
I think, as I've been told, Penny isn't in this film. So I'm going to go with option A.
Wait, say that again.
Well, just
Penny isn't in the film.
I haven't seen the film. Penny,
she's in the film.
Well,
and she's in all those options.
The lady from the first one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that. Okay.
All those options had Penny in them.
Oh, yeah. Well, they said the bar was owned by Penny.
Yeah, so the bar was owned by Penny, or B, he's had an on-off relationship with Penny.
Yeah, but Penny isn't the bar. The bar can be owned by Penny, but it doesn't mean she's there.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
True.
That's a really tough one. I'm going to go with A.
Okay.
For that one.
Point 3.
Okay.
So the famous volleyball scene from the first movie is recreated, but this time, so this is the part that's true. It's actually American football now, and so it's played with the recruits, and Tom Cruise is there as well.
Yeah.
A bit of context as well. John Hamm, you know John Hamm?
Yep.
From Mad Men. Look up John Hamm, anyone, if you don't know or haven't seen the movie.
I haven't.
Because he's like, physically like matched with Tom Cruise, I guess. So he's in the movie as the Vice Admiral.
Okay.
So he sort of has this conflictual relationship with Tom Cruise.
Yep.
So in the volleyball scene, John Hamm outshines Tom Cruise in the game. Ooh. And Tom Cruise uses this as a metaphor for working as a team and why you shouldn't try and stand out because it can get you killed in battle.
Okay.
B, John Hamm questions Tom Cruise about why they're playing football, and then Tom Cruise uses this as a metaphor that this game of football uses both attack and defense, and that's useful for when flying.
Okay.
Or C, John Hamm and Tom Cruise are playing American football with the recruits, and there is absolutely no metaphors, and it's a fucking pointless scene in the movie.
These are good questions, man. Jeez, I'm gonna go with. See, I'm leaning towards A. What was A again?
John Hamm outshines Tom Cruise, and Tom uses this as a metaphor for working as a team. Remember, you haven't used a lifeline yet.
I was just going to say, I'm going to use a lifeline. Could I get was it the 50-50, was it? Or remove one? Mm-hmm. Could you remove one, please? I'll
remove the one that was like a joke, that it was pointless.
Oh, man. Man, that doesn't bloody help. So it's A or B. I'm going to go with A. I think the Admiral kicks his ass, but yeah, there is a metaphor behind it. Yes.
Tom Cruise says that's why you need to work as a team, because if you stand out, you can get killed.
Well, yeah, and throughout the film, I reckon that they're showing that Tom Cruise is showing his age a little bit. He's not the fighter or the energetic gun that he used to be back in the 80s. We're going to lower this character down throughout the film, but he's going to have a climactic ending there. It. But yeah, continue.
All right. Point 4, the big battle.
Ooh.
So the battle, do you know much about what it is? I'll try and say it without spoiling.
Well, I know it's going to be like a dogfight with jets.
They have to fly to destroy an enemy base.
Okay.
That's sort of in between two mountains. This part's true. So it's in between two mountains.
Okay, yep.
And so there's like a uranium facility, and what they're doing is they're delivering the uranium, so they have to get there before the uranium gets there. It'll cause havoc, and then the enemy will develop a super weapon or something.
Okay.
So they make you think that Tom Cruise is just about to die by crashing into the mountain, but then at the last minute he pulls away and successfully completes the mission.
Okay.
B, Rooster, which is Goose's son, gets killed in the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And what you don't realize until when they reveal it, like there's a big cloud of smoke, that Tom Cruise actually sacrificed himself for Rooster.
Okay. Okay. And
Tom Cruise and Rooster both get shot down, and then they team up by stealing an enemy plane and coming back.
Oh, okay. C seems really far-fetched for an ending. That seems like a whole other film within itself. You'd have to go behind enemy lines, sneak into a facility, steal a plane. A seems really. Wait, are you about to spoil something on Top Gun? Is this going to spoil the ending of Top Gun to me?
Well, yeah, if you know the answer.
Oh shit. That's true. God. I don't care. Who cares? Yeah. Who cares about anything?
Do you want an elaboration on one of the points?
Yes, go for it.
Which point do you want? You can choose which one you want me to elaborate on.
B.
So B being Rooster gets killed in the mission, but then you actually realize that it was Tom Cruise who sacrificed himself.
Yes, please.
Okay. So basically when they're going in, they go in formation by 2 by 2. So two of the other original recruits are in the back.
Yep.
And it's Tom Cruise and Rooster. So what happens is there's like 2 points to the mount. So they have to get over one, then they have to go to the other.
Okay.
And the other one is a Mark 10 to get over it.
Oh,
so
wow.
Tom Cruise does it.
Okay.
And he flies off.
Okay.
And you're like, fuck, Tom Cruise did it.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Rooster's go. So it's like the whole thing is Rooster going.
Can Rooster do it?
So they have to shoot the missile in. So Rooster does that successfully.
Yeah.
So Rooster completes the mission.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, Tom Cruise is over. Rooster shot the thing in. He goes up.
Yeah.
And you're like, he's going to make it. Right? So they're setting it up like Rooster's going to make it. And then what happens is the enemy has these 2 planes, which they knew about, but they didn't reveal the whole time that the planes were actually coming in.
Okay.
So the whole point of the mission was to do it secretly, get it in and get out. So you're thinking they've done it. And then at the last minute, like Tom Cruise has disappeared. You got no idea where he is.
Yeah.
Rooster's going, and then you see the enemy planes.
Oh,
and
wow.
And because they're more advanced than the planes that they're using.
Okay.
So the point, that's why they had to get in first, because otherwise
Before the enemy planes get there. Okay.
So they pop up. Then it's like this oh shit moment, massive explosion.
Okay.
And then what you realize is Rooster. So when I say that Rooster gets killed, like you think that, but it's actually Tom Cruise who put his plane in place, so Rooster gets away.
Okay. So
Tom Cruise dies at the end, is what I'm saying.
Okay. So you just gave me the answer to your.
Well, I've elaborated on. There was 3 different points.
Okay. Well, then it'd be B then, because the Rooster gets away and Top Gun dies.
Okay. Okay. Last one, final.
Oh, there's another one. Oh my god.
So this is plot point 5. Yeah, this is real.
My God.
We're nearly at the video time as well.
Oh, beautiful.
All right. So the ending scene.
Yep.
And so this is probably based on what you said for the previous one.
Okay.
Or is it? So Tom Cruise's funeral. So the new crew promise that their next mission is going to be in honor of him, and that's kind of how it ends. It sets up a third movie or a Next Generation. B, Tom Cruise retires.
Okay.
And as he's leaving the base, so it seems like he's done for good.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, but by the way, we actually have this other mission. And he turns around in his Tom Cruise way, like you don't get to hear about it. That's how it sort of cuts off.
Okay.
Or C, Tom Cruise and Rooster are working on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
And then Penny ends up bringing her daughter around, and she asks Tom Cruise for a ride on that plane.
Oh, that's cute. That's a really cute ending. Well, I've said that Tom Cruise dies, so I have to go with A.
Okay.
So I'm consistent.
So, okay, you're not going to change.
I can't. Well, I said...
You can. If it's a different ending scene you think, you can go back. Remember, you get one rewrite. So you could change a plot point.
Man. What was A of number 4?
A of number 4 was they make you think Tom Cruise is going to die by crashing. So I'll elaborate on that one for your benefit. So it's the same thing as I said. He's going up to the Mark 10, and for, you're thinking Mark 10, okay, and then he at the tip, you think he's going to die, but then it's the Mission Impossible, right? Like the time is going, and he gets away. Okay. So as I said with the plot point B, Tom Cruise is like, you're like, oh fuck, he's going to die. He makes Mark 10 and goes.
Yeah,
it's Tom Cruise.
Okay,
being Tom Cruise.
I think I'm going to stick with it. I think he does make it, Mark 10. I think that's the whole story coming around in a circle. So at the end of the film, when he really needs to make Mark 10, he makes it.
But dies defending Rooster.
Correct, yes. Yeah. So he accomplishes his goal, but we've wrapped up that character now. So yeah, I'm going to have to go with the funeral. We're going to start a whole other generation. There's probably going to be a third one.
Do you want me to tell you how many you got right?
A bit like Jurassic World Dominion. Remember what you said? Like getting rid of the old characters, getting the new. Yeah, tell me how I did. I mean, I guess this is kind of good because I haven't really been spoiled.
Do you want to tell you out of 5 how many you got right?
Yeah.
1.
Whoa. Oh my god. Which one was right?
Do you want to rewrite one?
No. I'm fine.
You got. Fine. He goes to the bar on the base that's owned by Penny.
Oh my
she's
god.
There, and he meets the crew and has a flashback.
Whoa.
So I'll quickly run through them.
Damn.
So A.
No, don't tell me.
Oh no. So you have to.
I don't want to be. I want to watch the film, mate.
All right. There we go. That's a good.
Ad. That's good.
That's probably a better ad for the film than the trailer.
Yeah.
Well, so you got.
There you go.
You
that's
got
fantastic.
Most of the film wrong.
Good, because I actually want to enjoy the film.
Now you've got this idea of what the film is.
Unlike James Bond, which has been completely ruined for me, and I have all the ideas now.
Well, thank you for listening, everyone, to our episode back.
Yes, welcome back. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you.